TIFU listening to erotic audios with my husband. My husband, 32 meters, and I 30F have been married for 5.5 years, for 10. I love this man dearly. Okay, he makes me happy. He's always on time. He considers me first before himself very often. He has his quirks and things that tick me off, but all in all the relationship is very solid and I'm happy I found my person. The only flaw I would change is that he is very vanilla. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not the most kinky person either. There's just a few things that I wished he did rougher or better. For example, I asked him recently if he was interested in the idea of pulling my hair, maybe some light choking. He said he was only comfortable with the hair pulling, which was fine because I'm a soft masochist. So any tension on my head is okay in my book. We tried the hair pulling one night, and he was still a little too gentle, so I told him he didn't have to do it if it was making him uncomfortable. I could tell he wasn't enjoying hurting me. Then I brought up the idea of dirty talking because he is often silent during sex, which I don't mind, but something I would love is if he at least talked me through my own orgasms. Now, I can't just say, "Hey babe, can you talk me through my orgasms," without giving him some suggestions. So, I googled sexy phrases to say during sex, and it led me to a Reddit post, which led me to another Reddit post inside of a community called Gonwald Audio. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of people in this community who just talk each other through orgasms, whether it be a personal thing or a community thing. I don't know, it seemed kinda like a group circle jerk. But I didn't want to be closed-minded, so I listened to some of the audios. I was blown away. What I found literally had me in a pool of sweat by the end of the audio. I'm very new to Reddit and not well-versed on all the communities, so I wasn't sure what I was getting into when I listened. It turns out I was very wrong, and it's more like audio erotica and like simulated sex through audio. I love audiobooks and reading smut already, so this was like a paradise for me. I took some of the best audios I could find and made a list for my husband to listen to, so that he could have an idea on what I want to hear. At first, I was nervous because I thought maybe he would think I was looking for sex online, which I wasn't. I was just looking for examples. Finally, I recently mustered the courage to show him what I found, and surprisingly, he took it very well. He wasn't upset at all. He was actually very happy that I provided him with samples. He said he struggles with guessing what I want, and this is very helpful. After he listened to the audios, a few days later we had sex, and it was so much better than before. He was vocalizing to me how beautiful I was to him, how I made him feel. Just everything. Nothing went unsaid. Everything was going well until he started recommending audios for me to listen to and draw inspiration. I wouldn't have had a problem if he had recommended the same type of audios I recommended. I showed him something called Joe and JOI, which is like an instructional audio on how to better please yourself. He starts sending me audios that are like simulated sex stories with another person, like a listener X speaker type of ordeal. I didn't like this because I felt like he was imagining himself with the speaker. So, when he sent me the audios, I was appalled. I asked him, "Are you imagining yourself having sex with her?" He said no, and that he imagines it's me because to him me and the speaker sound a lot alike. He jokingly said he thought it was me under a secret account, but I didn't find it funny. I told him I was uncomfortable with him listening to these kinds of stories, and he got upset with me. He told me I was being hypocritical and that I literally asked him to go listen to erotic audios, which, he is right. I did ask him to, so I couldn't stay upset at all. I decided to not bring it up anymore, but to this day he is still listening to those simulated sex audios, and I just can't feel comfortable about it at all. To me, it feels like he's having pretend sex with someone else. Sometimes I feel like he enjoys the audios more than he does me, because the last time we had sex he recommended that we both have headphones on listening to an audio as well. I couldn't even enjoy myself because he was even more vocal than he's ever been listening to the audio than any other night before with me without audio. It felt more like I was being used as a sex doll to simulate sex with the girl he was listening to, the same girl he thinks sounds like me. I told him to stop and we had a conversation about it, but I feel like now that I've opened the door to this, there's no closing it.